There's room for every style of makeup, not just in the sisters, but in general, because it's about expressing yourself.
Hello! It's Sister Babeushka here.
Hello, I got, and I'm Sister Alaska lot.
You okay, hon?
That was much harder to do than I thought.
And this is utter nonsense.
This is the show where we pour a piping hot cup of tea.
And we utter whatever pops into our heads.
And we release a brand new deep dive video once a month, every month on the first of the month, as well as fun, shorter videos every week in between. We loved it so much that we're coming back to a topic that we've done before. We are looking at some gorgeous glow-ups. Yes, we're talking makeup again.
Oh, yeah. You know, when we love a topic here on the show, we go back for some sloppy seconds.
Tasty.
Last time, we got so hot and bothered by just how beautiful our fellow sisters were that we couldn't just leave it there. We had to admire some more beautiful people and the amazing transformations that they've had over their journey as a sister.
So join us as we travel through the wonderfully creative world of sister makeup.
Don't worry, I've got my towelette underneath me for when I get all moist again. I shouldn't be allowed out, for fuck's sake. Every one of these sisters in this video and the last one are probably going to get restraining orders on me after I've gushed about them so much.
And we're starting off strong with a wonderful contender who is Sister Tainted Virgin. And this is showing us actually two different sides of themselves, their sister self, but also how they represent as a guard as well.
I love this. We've got like a 4-for-1 deal. Brilliant.
So let's look at their sister face first, shall we? They're very pretty, aren't they? I love the colours that they've chosen around the eye, the blues and the golds. It's a really lovely colour combination.
It's somebody that has understood that to be a sister and to do drag nun stuff, you got to be bold. And they've started that straight out the gate with the bold around the eyes, you know, the defined lips, and then also the lovely little gems in the centre of the head as well. It's a good first look.
But then when you look at them now, oh my goodness, wowzers.
Not gonna lie, I get a poison ivy vibe, but also just like that vibe of this person will kill me. And I'm kind of okay with that.
With the new makeup comes a new air of confidence, clearly. It's really gorgeous, though. It definitely hones in on the clown nun that we all kind of refer to ourselves as.
What I love the most is that they're the first one that we've seen playing about with coloured contacts as well.
It really adds to the look, doesn't it? It's not something I could do. Like I can't do contacts, but it looks good. I'm not gonna lie.
I also just have to say, I love the fact that they've got the necklace with their name on it, but also just the fact it's taint. I'm like, girl.
Well, let's have a look at their other persona, shall we? Which is as a guard. Now, I think this first look is absolutely incredible. Not gonna lie, it's just so detailed.
I'm absolutely breathless, actually, just at how much detail, and I imagine the time and effort and the practice that went into making that.
The fact that they're 2 years apart, the first sister picture and the first guard picture, the skill that's gone into that, I'm genuinely impressed.
With the latest guard picture this year, just again, it's bold and it stands out and it's really eye-catching. It's less detailed than the other one, but for some reason it works so well at just catching the eye. It's absolutely incredible.
I think this is a really good example of seeing how something's been refined. So more detail doesn't necessarily mean better. Sometimes when you pare it back and you really focus on the shapes in the face and the bold colours, it can really cut through and be really visual in how it looks. So yeah, it's The first one was amazing. Second one is really bold, stands out, and I think is effective. Is that a fake drool?
I couldn't tell if it was fake drool or real drool, but if it is real drool and it is committed, I'm like there for it.
I'm saying drool. I suspect it might be a reference to something else, but I'm not going to put that on YouTube.
Absolutely love all of Sister Tainter Virgin's looks. Next up, we have the fabulous Reverend Dominatrix with the Ladies of the Lake in Minnesota. And I believe we've got a nice comparison here from where they were a postulant in 2019 and then how they've grown up into the fully professed member that they are in 2024.
I think that Reverend Dominatrix is one of those sisters that really stands out and is quite recognisable. So they've got a look that's quite distinct to them. I would be able to name them and point them out just based on having seen their photos.
It's really interesting just seeing the subtlety of the first face. It's very subtle, but then when you compare it to a few years of experience and going out, like the transformation it feels almost like night and day.
They knew what they were trying to do because they still had the facial hair that was painted on their face, and you can see the difference between the first picture when it's quite tentative in a way because they're still experimenting with it, and then later on how bold and graphic it looks, and it really, really works.
And again, it kind of feels like kombucha where they've picked a colour that really works for them as well.
I have definitely looked at their photos of their makeup, how it is done now, and thought I would really like to try like the moustache that they do and stuff. I've been inspired. I've not done it yet because I'm scared, but I find them inspirational to look at. Also, the horns, I feel, are quite a big feature, because that's been an addition over time. And it's one of the things that I think helps them to stand out.
They do look very horny in that second photo. It's almost like finding that unique selling point. Once a sister has locked onto what their USP is, and whether that's the horns, whether that's being a hot dog, whether that's writing on their face, you know, again, it's finding those things that work for them and help really build their character.
Next sister who's up is Sister Decompose. I'm here for it.
I do love these punny names, which also have a grammar aspect to them. They do tickle my pickle, as the kids say. The kids don't say that, but you know what I mean.
I think what we're seeing in the first photo is like a genuine first manifest from a postulant. So it's very simplistic. We've got the white face, which most sisters tend to do, and some brows. And then when you look at how it's developed over time and the things been added to it, I think the eye shape that is done now is really nice. It really, really suits them, actually.
Again, this is another one where we've noticed a little beauty mark just above the lips. It's actually becoming a bit of a trend in some of the photos we've looked at now.
I feel like I'm missing out. That's what I'm going to be doing next. I'm going to add extra things to my headpiece and a wee beauty mark. I'm picking up tips here.
That's all these video series were for, was just stealing other people's makeup. So this is another interesting blow up that we've got here, where actually the first one is from 2014, and then the second one is a decade later in 2024. So it's actually showing us what a decade's worth of experience and practice and playing about with one's face can really do.
That's really cool. I think the first picture is actually really good. Again, is the attention to detail that makes a difference, and you can see the different things they're experimenting with. The brows with the crystals on them, I think, is a really lovely touch. I've not seen too many people do that.
I almost wonder if they have to actually shave off the natural brow to do it, or if it's something that they've used the sort of glue to glue it down to make it so fine to stick it to. I'd really love to know.
That's definitely drag brows that they're doing. When you zoom in, they've glued down their brows and then drawn on new brows, but higher up.
Like during lockdown, I shaved mine off, so it was easier to do it because, again, I wasn't going outside, so it didn't matter if I could draw eyebrows or not on my normal face.
I mean, it's more than I do. I hate gluing down my brows.
But again, they've got the assignment that they know to be big and bold. And I just love how it sparkles and catches the light.
It comes across as slightly demure, which is very different from their second picture, which is just big and bold and fabulous.
The second picture makes my eyebrows go from this to this. To see like that transformation from more sort of demure and reserved to just how outgoing and fabulous they look. They wear it with such confidence.
The real magic that's happened is in all the other stuff that's been added. That dress, I love that dress. It's incredible. But then when you look at the umbrella that matches, and it's got like jewels all over it as well, the pearl necklaces, just everything that's going on is, and it all matches beautifully. It's fantastic. What a look.
Hands across the board.
Hands across the board.
And for those not understanding our Kens across the board reference, please watch the previous episode where we gave the rating scale out of Kens.
In fact, what we'll do is we'll pop in a little picture of Ken Tejas, who is one of the people we reviewed in the previous video that we did on this topic. And their makeup was phenomenal. So we decided that we are rating in Kens.
Well, who do we have next, Alaska?
We have novice sister Sharon Stones from the NYC Disorder of Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. This is a sister I've seen on my Instagram quite a lot. Her pictures come up all the time, and I'm always liking them because I'm like, oh, makeup. Oh, look at the makeup. Oh, look at the makeup.
Oh, so that's quite interesting. So this one is actually quite a short time frame of the glow up. It's only like, what, April to July this year, 2024.
I feel they've definitely got a colour palette that they're enjoying at the moment, because you can see the same sort of colour scheme in the first photo versus the second photo, but you can just see over time how it's become more polished.
Yeah, like the colouring of the facial hair and the beard, they've kept that, and that seems to be a bit of their signature look. But then, yeah, in the second one, the lines look a lot more crisp and sharp, and they've angled it so that, yeah, it just, even if it's not using the same colour scheme for the beard, they've worked out how they want to present that beard and then just refined that over those months.
The contour game is strong with this one. Contour that could cut a bitch.
I feel there's a sister name in that.
Honestly, I see them on Instagram all the time, and I always think their makeup is gorgeous. And I think I've seen them from like very early on as well. So it's been interesting to see how it's just slowly getting refined, but they've definitely got a look and a colour that they love and that works for them.
Fabulous. Next up, we have somebody from our own Fair Isles of the Disunited Kingdom. All the way from Cardiff, we have Sister Linda Hand.
So again, what I think we have is a picture of them as a postulant when people are just at the beginning of their sister journey, versus a picture of them now as a fully professed sister.
Bolder, bigger, faster, more dragged.
More dragged.
What's clear to see is that Linda started with a very clear idea of, yes, be bold, and those really bold eyes, which I love. And then as they've developed as a sister, they've done contouring and fake lashes and even facial hair. And so they've taken and they've said, no, I want more. I want more. I want more. And I think that's great that there's been that development and that striving to what else can I do to my face? How else can I improve and or change my look until I'm settled in what works for me?
It's really nice to see that they were willing to be so bold and defined with the eye makeup as a postulant, because that's something that I was too afraid to do. But then as they've developed, they've really come up with their own style. The eyeliner is very, very specific. And the way they do their beards at the bottom is also, I think, looks quite unique. Like they've found a look that is theirs.
Yeah, I love that. Again, that experimentation with colour and how that works on the face. I just, delish.
And look how bold the second look is. I mean, I know it's clearly pride, but the colors are so vibrant and they're so big and out there, and I just love it.
So good.
Now we're going to look at the lovely Sister Tequila Mockingbird with pictures that are 10 years apart. First one is in 2009, and then the more recent one is 2019.
Oh, my days. Look at that. That is a glow up into a goddess. Like, I love the fact that they start off with elements that they're going to use throughout. The shape of the eyebrows, the bold colours around the eyes, both above and below, and then the colouring of the facial hair. But over time and skills and practice, it becomes just so crisp and well applied.
I think this is another one where the first picture strikes me as very cute. Like they are very cute, and that's just their face in general. It's got nothing to do with the makeup. Makeup's also cute, but they're just cute. And then the second picture, they're absolutely serving, and they know it. You can tell they know it. They're feeling fabulous. They're feeling like a goddess serving.
There's some Tyra Banks smizing going on there.
I love the color they've used in the more recent one. It really reads as like golds and bronzes and gorgeous.
Again, it's that thing where it's an attention to detail that they've obviously developed over time, where it works with the clothing as well, because it's obviously a sort of more greenish dress that they're wearing and then the black headpiece. But again, it helps pull together to give those sort of earthy tones and it gives a cohesive feel to it.
The way they've changed how they do their blending really helps to play into it as well. Like the ombre on the lips is really just, oh, lovely.
We've got some fine looking nuns up in here.
We certainly do.
Now, talking about fine looking nuns, we have another one here with the second postulant manifestation in 2022. And then just 2 years later, as a fully professed sister. And what a glow up.
The eyebrow game started really strong. Do you see that? Those brows are actually spot on.
Not just the eyebrows, but the overarch of the eye. Like they've got it there in the first picture, but then as they've developed, they've just the way they've coloured it and having a gradient of colour, but then also they start to pull it down into the nose contouring. I think just again shows that skill and development of knowing what works on one's face.
And the beautiful blush that comes down the cheeks now as well. It really works for their face. They've really learned how to make the best of their features because it looks stunning.
Again, it's one of these faces that is very elegant looking, and it's not necessarily because they've applied a lot of different things to the face, but because they've learned what works for their face and how they apply that in a particular way. You know, it's the embodiment of like less is more, and it really works for them. That face just serves.
Sister Judy is another one that I've definitely clocked because of makeup. There's just something about it that's distinctive enough that she sticks in my mind, and I recognize her from her photos.
She be good.
She'd be very good. Next, we have Sister Kmart of the Blue Lights. And we have a picture from 2020 and another one from 2024. So we've got 4 years of progress.
Well, I have to say, the first picture, so strong right out the bat. The game is strong with the sharp contour, the double sets of huge eyelashes, and then the sort of classic huge arched brows for drag.
That is contouring that could cut a bitch. My favourite thing about the second picture, the googly eyes. The googly eyes. Ken's across the board.
You go gaga for a googly eye.
I certainly do. Who doesn't like their eyes all googly?
Just, yeah, gotten sharper over time, and also just really embraced that inner sacred clown aspect. Because again, it's knowing the googly eyes and where they're positioned and how that could be interpreted and the fun to it all. It's just, yeah, they just exude joy.
Even the way they carry themselves, like the position in the picture, there's so much joy and power and confidence in that. It's fabulous. The googly eyes are just the googly icing on the cake.
Googled all over that cake.
Oh my.
Okay, let's move on before I Google again. So next up on the chopping block, we have Sister Vigor Mortis with their manifestation as a novice in 2023, and then again manifesting for June 2024. So only a year apart between these manifests.
This is someone who clearly came with a strong makeup game. Very goth inspired, I feel. The shapes on the eyes are just incredible, aren't they? I really love it. The way it kind of draws the face in.
I love the fact that they came with a strong sort of goth aesthetic with the shaped black lips, the little black heart on the cheeks, and the massive cat's eye. And then how that's transformed over time with still having the shaped lips, but those hearts on the cheeks now extend above and below the eyes, and the cat's eye itself has changed in how it's coloured. And I just think, they knew what they wanted to present, and they've just refined that over time.
They have elevated from gorgeous goth aesthetic to gothy drag clown nun aesthetic. It's a really interesting merging of the two, and I think it really works for them.
Obviously, as they've experimented more as a sister, I think it's easier to see where the colour comes into their look, with the pinks and the blues being added, so it's not so monochromatic.
Have you noticed that the same kazoo appears in both pictures? Because I've noticed it and I really love it. It's all good.
No, that was the other sister. That was Judy.
For our final fabulous sister of the episode, we have Sister Freddie and Willie from the Boston Sisters. And they've provided a few different pictures, I think.
I think the first picture is obviously quite early on in their sister journey, because you can see it's mostly white face. But again, they've got the assignment that bold eyes to help things stand out.
And then in their later pictures, we can see just how much that has developed. And honestly, the way they do the kind of colour across their nose and cheeks and with the cherries on them as well is absolutely adorable.
What's nice to know as well is that Sister Freddie, they actually put a lot of effort into creating these sort of more simplistic looks. And I think part of that is allowing it to feel a bit more accessible to the community. And when we're out with the gathered faithful, it feels like, oh, being a sister is something that's achievable for them. And I think that's a really noble thing to do, to make sure that everyone feels like they can see themselves in the sisters.
Yeah, like you do have some sisters that go very detailed, very precise. I would say that's probably what I aim for in my own makeup. But it's really important to note that that's not the only way to do it. Having makeup that's softer, blended, these are all different options. There's room for every style of makeup, not just in the sisters, but in general, because it's about expressing yourself.
I love the fact that the band of colour across their nose with little details in that colour, where it's cute cherries and it's almost like little freckles. And I really like that as their theme, and it really defines them as a sister. It helps them have that unique point of reference that others can go, oh yeah, that is Sister Freddie with that look.
I would agree. That seems to be something that is almost unique to them. They found like their trademark style and they really make it work. I appreciate that too. Well, that has been an awful lot of makeup photos that we've looked at tonight. I would like to declare that it is Ken's across the board.
Every single one that we've looked at is absolutely fabulous, and it's been so heartwarming to see the beautiful journeys that our fellow sisters have went on as they've discovered themselves and their sister persona, and how that's been reflected in their makeup glow-ups. It's beautiful.
And just how diverse the different makeup looks are. Just like our community, it is expression of diversity.
I appreciate, that for some of them, how they make that maybe more accessible and feel like the community can be reflected in what they're seeing on us.
And hopefully this is a sign for whoever's watching this to not be afraid to be big, be bold, experiment, and express yourself creatively. Because actually, all of these looks were very different from one another. There is no one right way to do drag. It's all about finding what works for you and what you're comfortable with.
Especially if you've got those cutting cheekbones.
We've got to get practicing our contour, Babeushka.
Look, Babeushka's settled for writing on their face backwards.
That's a skill, though. That is a skill. I can attest. I tried it. It's really hard. If you're at all interested in our own makeup looks, we've actually done videos on this before. We've got a couple of tutorials which you can watch on our YouTube channel where you can see how to do Sister Babeushka face and how you do Sister Alaska face.
If you've enjoyed this video or any of the other videos that you might have watched produced by us, it would be great if you could give us a follow on social medias or just check out other things that we do at the House of Nunsense, because you know, it is not just this show that we do a whole wide range of things to engage with the community. And it'd be great to have you come along and see what we do.
If you only watch the YouTube channel, you're missing out. So do you think that perhaps we've done the thing?
Well, I don't think we've just done the thing. I think all our fellow sisters have done the thing.
We've done the thing. We've done the thing. We've done the thing. We've done the thing.